John Stewart is a decorated veteran Marine haunted by traumatic memories of war. Even after seeing the worst of humankind, he always tries to do good. One night, he encounters a couple of thugs harassing a drunk bum, and John doesn't hesitate to interfere and fights the harassers. The police don't take long to show up, but they apprehend John while the thugs run away. The officers learn he's a veteran, so they let him go to avoid backlash from the press and social media. Later that same night, John witnesses a spaceship crashing near his house. John runs toward the crash site and tries to help the blue alien trapped in the wreckage. However, the Guardian dies before him after telling John he was looking for him. The Guardian disintegrates, and from his remains, a green, glowing ring starts floating and speaks to John, saying he was selected to be part of the Green Lantern Corps, and places itself on John's finger. Unable to take it off or even know how it works, John asks for someone to help him, and the ring takes him flying to the Justice League watchtower. The watchtower lets him in because it recognizes him as Green Lantern, but the Justice League members Vixen, Green Arrow, and Martian Manhunter treat him as an intruder. After a short fight, the League interrogates John on how he obtained that ring. When the Martian asks the ring who was its previous owner, the artifact replies that it belonged to Hal Jordan, a member of the League and friend of Green Arrow. Since the Justice League hasn't received any information from the Green Lantern Corps or the Guardians for quite some time, they decide to investigate this matter. John, however, only wants to find a way to get his ring off. Green Arrow goes with John to check the Guardian's shipwreck, which repaired itself during John's absence. With the help of John's ring, they activate the ship and fly toward Oa's coordinates. During the trip, John learns the history of the Green Lantern Corps. Upon arrival, they find the corpses of Green Lanterns and Guardians, as well as the ruins of the Citadel. Inside the Hall of Honor, Oliver finds a power battery. Suddenly, a winged woman attacks them, and John defends himself, almost killing her if it wasn't for the ring's warnings about lethal force not being authorized and Green Arrow's intervention. After she recomposes, Shayera Hole questions if they belong to Run's forces, who are the prime suspects of Oa's destruction. Hawkgirl explains that her home planet, Thanagar, is at war with Run. Both planets attempted a truce and joined forces to build a Zeta beam to boost the economy and technology of both worlds. However, the experiment turned out to be a disaster that teleported Thanagar to Run's sector, destroying both ecosystems. Hal Jordan was present during the accident, and he was teleported along with Ranagar, dying in the process. The war between both planets raged on ever since. John and Oliver decide to get the Ranians' help to investigate the accident and ask Hawkgirl to go with them. During the trip, John gets familiar with the ring's ability but runs out of power. Oliver hands him the power battery and teaches him the oath to recharge it. They arrive at a Ranian outpost, but only find corpses of Ranian and Thanagarian soldiers. Suddenly, a Zeta beam teleports a Ranian man near them. Hawkgirl doesn't hesitate to attack him, but John and Oliver stop them. The man introduces himself as Adam Strange, the champion of Run presumed dead. He explains that a Zeta beam randomly teleported him away from his planet during the war, and he spent years trying to learn when the Zeta beam would hit him again to return home to his daughter. Upon learning that the Green Lantern Corps is gone, Strange decides to help them get to the bottom of this since Run had an alliance with Oa and they couldn't be responsible for its destruction. John suggests Strange join the group and take them to his high command. When they get near Run, they see the conflict is still active, and they find dead soldiers all around them. They contact a Ranian captain that recognizes Strange and gives him information about the war. Sardath, a Ranian scientist who worked on the incident that teleported Thanagar, is building a weapon that will destroy Thanagar and end this once and for all. They also learn that the same Ranian ship that attacked Oa also attacked Run, but in the guise of a Thanagarian ship, suggesting that someone else is fueling the conflict between both planets. They trace the ship to a hidden base. They discover the real perpetrators of the Run Thanagar war, the former Green Lantern Sinestro and his group of Yellow Lanterns, who capture the heroes. John and his crew wake up in a prison cell, where they find Hal Jordan, still alive after his supposed death. Hal explains that Sinestro was responsible for the accident with the Zeta beam and that Hal survived the beam's energy. Before going unconscious and getting trapped by Sinestro, Hal commanded his ring to find a successor. Hal seems surprised to learn about Oa's destruction, and the group tells him about Sardath and his world killer weapon. However, Sinestro was listening, so he decides to find this weapon as well. With the help of Hawkgirl's NTH metal knife, Hal digs through the rocks and deactivates the force field to escape their prison. They get to their ship, where Hal kills one of Sinestro's crew, much to Oliver's shock. John then summons his ring and brings their weapons back. Upon arrival on Run, they find Sinestro's forces already attacking the planet. Strange contacts High Command and explains the truth of the attacks. However, Sardath refuses to accept Thanagar's innocence, determined to use his weapon to put an end to the conflict. Sardath also explains that Adam Strange has a meta-gene that allowed him to tap into the Zeta Beam energy. Suddenly, Sinestro finds the crew and attacks them to take control of the Zeta Beam cannon. During the fight, Hal again mercilessly kills one of Sinestro's men and then runs away from the battle while John duels against Sinestro. The Yellow Lantern takes John's ring, throws it away, and is about to kill John, but Stewart summons his ring, flying swiftly through Sinestro's chest and killing him. Sinestro's last words suggest that his master will kill them all. John's crew follow the death trail that leads them to Hal and Sardath, who was finally convinced not to use the Zeta Beam cannon. However, Jordan shoots Sardath and betrays his friends, showing his true nature. On the day of his supposed death, Sinestro infected him with the Parallax entity to turn him into his slave. Together they attacked Oa and killed the Green Lanterns, but Jordan became more powerful after stealing their rings and overpowered Sinestro, becoming his master. Now a god, Hal's goal is to create a new universe with no war and conflict. John fights Hal, unleashing all of his willpower, taking the Green Lantern rings away from Hal, and knocking him out. However, Hal stands up again and is about to kill John, but this time Green Arrow is forced to shoot an arrow through his friend's chest, killing Hal Jordan for good. Meanwhile, the Zeta Beam was still activated, and they couldn't find a way to stop its ignition. Adam Strange decides to sacrifice himself and uses his meta-gene to divert the Zeta Beam before it could hit Thanagar. The remaining heroes return to Earth. Hawkgirl bids farewell and John sends the Green Lantern rings he retrieved from Hal to find new recruits to rebuild the Corps. John and Oliver go together to toast their lost friends, but also for the new ones.